The Threx fleet plummeted into the Razorback Range, swallowed by a storm that cared nothing for metal or rank. In orbit, High Command watched the telemetry die. They did not hesitate. All hands in the Razorback are dead. Do not attempt retrieval. Repeat, do not attempt retrieval. But in the darkness below, inside a shattered escape pod, a crewman named Orin still breathed.
Is anyone out there? Please.
His arm was broken, the cold already numbing the pain into something worse. 50 meters away, a soldier named Zara clawed through the snow, her combat armor cracked and useless.
They wrote us off. I knew they would.
The Razorback gave no quarter. Its peaks had claimed entire armies before this night. Miles away, a human research station picked up their dying signals. Inside the research station, the distress signals screamed through every speaker. Station Chief Eli Farrow stared at the displays, his face grim.
I count 7 beacons still pinging. All Threx. Signal strength is dropping fast.
So what's the play, Eli? We going to go get them?
They're not our people. If the situation were reversed, they'd leave us to freeze.
Maybe. But that's not who we are. I am not leaving anyone to die out there.
Before Eli could respond, a younger voice cut through the tension from the doorway.
I'll go. If no one else wants to, I'll go alone.
Alone? Not in this storm. I am with you, Emily. We're not losing anyone we can reach.
This isn't a democracy. You go out there and you are dead too. The Razorback will break you.
Then we break first. We gear up in 5.
In the gear room, Emily Vance stood before a cracked mirror, white and black paint in her hand.
This paint was for the ones she couldn't reach before. It would be for these strangers too.
Marcus spread a tablet across a crate, red markers blinking where the beacons huddled in the dark.
We head to the nearest beacon first. That's the pod. After that, we assess. Stay on the rope at all times.
I'll carry the med kit. Emily, you good with the extra O2?
Good. Let's go.
They opened the outer door, and the storm swallowed them whole. Wind shrieked, snow blinded, cold stabbed. Marcus took the lead, rope unspooling from his pack. The others followed, 3 figures lost in white.
Stay close. I can't see 5 feet.
A crevasse yawned unseen until Marcus's ice axe bit the edge. He held, then pulled them around the drop. The beacon guided them to a pod half buried in a snowdrift, its hull still ticking with heat. They dug at the frozen hatch until it gave, and a terrified Threx crewman stared back at them.
Are you here to kill me? You're kind. He broke off, his voice cracking with fear and cold.
No, Emily said, kneeling and pulling off a glove to place her bare hand against his. We came to help.
His arm was broken, bone angling wrong, but his eyes held more shock than pain.
Hold still, friend. Nyla, get the splint and pressure bandage.
Orin cried out as the bone was pulled straight, but Emily's grip on his good hand never wavered.
Just breathe. You're not alone anymore.
They wrapped him in thermal blankets and strapped him into the litter, his head lolling weakly. 3 human figures hoisted the litter and trudged into the white, carrying the enemy who'd been abandoned. A Threx soldier staggered from the wreckage of a troop carrier, energy pistol crackling in her hand, one eye swollen shut.
Stop right there. You are the last thing I expected out here. Human vermin.
Easy. We're not soldiers. We're mountain rescue. We already pulled one of your crew from a pod. He's alive.
No weapons, see? She knelt, hands open, snow clinging to her goggles. We're here to help, not fight.
Orin, you pulled him out? I heard the pod go down, thought everyone was dead.
Before she could decide, her legs buckled. The pistol tumbled away as she hit the snow, crimson seeping into the white.
She's hemorrhaging. Get the trauma kit. She's going into shock.
They dropped their packs and worked in the gale, Emily pressing a sealant patch against the gash while Marcus kept her airway clear.
Why? I was going to shoot you. You should have let me freeze. You are either insane or something I don't understand. Fine, I'll guide you to the other crash sites.
They dug a snow cave and huddled together as the wind screamed outside. Zara sat propped against her pack, watching the humans work.
You keep saving people who were shooting at you a week ago. Why?
The mountain doesn't care about your flag. Neither do we.
You don't expect anything in return? No reward, no leverage.
We're climbers. We go where others can't, and we bring back whoever's still breathing. That's the only contract.
She stared at her raw, bleeding hands. The paint was for the dead she couldn't carry before. Now it was for these strangers too.
Outside, the mountain answered with a low rumble, an avalanche tearing down a distant face. The snow cave shuddered.
And still you don't turn back. I've never seen anything like it.
Save the philosophy for later. That slide just blocked our route back. We're committed now.
No one argued. They broke camp in silence, the storm doubling down, the mountain's rules now the only ones that mattered. They pushed deeper into the range, pulling more Threx from smoking hulls. But the mountain was taking its cut. A snow bridge collapsed without warning. The youngest rescuer, a volunteer no older than Emily, plunged into the blue darkness.
Hold the rope. Hold. The line went slack.
No. God, no.
Emily lunged for the edge, but her crampons skidded. Marcus caught her harness inches from the drop. Then Nyla slipped, descending a rough ice pitch, her ribs cracking against a ledge. She gasped, face going pale. They built a small cairn of rocks over an ice axe. No name, only breath misting in the wind.
This was the price. The mountain always collected its toll, and today it took a piece of her too.
We keep moving. His death doesn't mean nothing if we keep pulling people off this mountain.
They continued into the storm, wounded and grim, the living weighing heavier than the dead they carried out. Zira guided them to the shattered flagship, its spine broken against the rock. Inside, bodies of her comrades lay frozen where they fell. In the command nest, High Commander Kale Virek was pinned beneath a support strut, his leg crushed and his breathing shallow.
You are human. Make it quick, then. I won't beg.
Quiet. I am giving you a painkiller. This is going to hurt.
She injected the cocktail straight into his neck. His rigid body slackened, but his eyes stayed fixed on her skull paint.
Lift on 3. 1, 2, 3.
The strut screamed as they levered it free. Kale's leg was a ruin, but the bleeding had clotted in the cold.
Got his airway. He's going into shock. We need to move now.
Easy, Commander. You are not dying today. Not on our watch.
Kale Virek, conqueror of a dozen species, hung limp between enemy hands, watching them work to save him under an overhang of blue ice. They eased Kale onto a thermal blanket. Emily's hands worked quickly, a field bandage sealing his wounds with a cold hiss.
What division is this? I demand to speak with your commanding officer immediately.
There is no division. We're volunteers, and my commanding officer is the mountain. It doesn't take orders.
That paint on your face. Are you some kind of executioner? A war criminal they send to finish the injured?
She's not a soldier. She's a college student who skipped her final exams to be here. Probably failed geology.
Kale stared, the ridges on his brow twitching. The collapse of his worldview hurt more than the shattered leg.
You are not soldiers. You gain nothing. No promotion, no resources, nothing.
We get to sleep at night. Now shut up, Commander, or I'll sedate you again.
A student. They sent a student into this storm for him, the enemy. He had no framework for it.
Something deep in Kale's chest, something he'd called duty all his life, fractured. He had no words left. The blizzard reached its full fury, wind screaming loud enough to crack the sky. Rescue drones, their rotors icing over, plunged one by one into the white. Marcus watched the last transport drone cartwheel into a ridge and explode, cutting them off from all gear drops and evacuation support. Emily came back from her 7th carry, a semi-conscious Threx technician, slung across her shoulders. Her hands were seized with tremors.
She unclipped the harness, but Marcus put a firm hand on her chest. That's 7. Your body is shutting down. Sit.
She shook her head, barely able to lift her arms. Still more out there. I can do another.
From his litter, Kale watched. A 19-year-old human was bargaining with death for strangers, for his crew, and he heard himself ask, "Why? You owe us nothing. We left our own to die. Why don't you?"
She looked at him, exhausted, and her voice held no anger. Because they'd die if I didn't.
The words hung in the frozen air. No argument, no philosophy could touch them.
Kale's throat tightened. His own command had broadcast, "Do not retrieve." These humans had come unasked, unpaid, and would not stop.
A final beacon pulsed from a wind-scoured overhang 100 meters above. Firth Thirth Threk's life sign, weak and dropping fast.
Emily staggered to her feet. I am going. Give me the harness.
It's a death sentence, Emily. That climb will kill you.
Everyone we left, we left. I won't leave this one.
He tied her harness with white knuckles, not meeting her eyes. He said nothing.
30 minutes. Then I'm coming for you, no matter what.
She lifted the last Threx, a heavy, gray-skinned soldier with a crushed chest plate, and strapped him to her back. Her ice axe bit the wall. She pulled herself upward, alone against the dawn, through the binoculars. Kale saw her small form clinging to the ice. He forgot to breathe. The ice face waited, sheer and unforgiving. The storm had quieted, but the mountain's judgment was still to come. Her hands cramped into claws around the axe, every swing a negotiation with muscles that no longer obeyed.
Can't let go. Can't. She whispered to the soldier on her back, a promise to the wind. Almost there. Just hold on.
A chunk of ice shattered under her crampon. Her body swung out, one hand flailing, the rope screaming.
No.
The axe bit a crack, saving them both. She dangled, her shoulders screaming, the enemy's weight pulling her arms from their sockets.
She gritted her teeth, pulling her weight back onto the wall. We're not done. Not yet.
Her knee hit the lip of the overhang. She pulled, rolled, and collapsed onto flat snow. The alien sprawled beside her. She lay on her back, heaving, the sky a pale orange above her. The alien's chest rose and fell. Alive, she had nothing left. No strength, no voice, but the mountain had not broken her. Emily stumbled into the camp, the alien still strapped to her back. Her legs folded, and both bodies hit the snow.
Get her unstrapped. Nyla, somewhere warm now?
From his litter, Kale's hand went to his crutch. He pushed himself up, the crutch clattering, as he dropped it to reach toward her.
Her pulse. Is she breathing? Someone tell me she's breathing.
Marcus pressed 2 fingers to her neck, his jaw set. She's alive. Barely. Get the thermal wrap and my med kit. They rolled her into a survival blanket, her breath so shallow the steam barely fogged the air.
He had served a doctrine that called this enemy weak. But no weakness he'd ever known possessed the strength to do what she had just done. He whispered, barely audible over the wind. They must know. They must all know what we are.
The camp fell silent around him, the weight of what had just happened settling into every frozen bone.
Something in him broke completely. Not his will, but his silence. Tomorrow he would speak, and it would cost him everything.
The storm's eye passed, and a brittle dawn painted the peaks. Kale's voice cut the silence, cold and clear.
I need a Threx communicator with fleet encryption. I know my codes are still live.
They scavenged a beacon from Zera's crashed troop carrier. Kale entered his authentication and opened the channel.
This is High Commander Kale Virik, alive and uncensored. I address the Threx fleet and High Council with a single question. What are we, that we left them to die, and they didn't leave us? A student. 19 years old, unpaid, carried my crew off a cliff while my own command rode us off. That is our shame, and I will not carry it silently.
The transmission encoded and broadcast, racing toward the fleet. It could not be unsent.
He slumped back and looked at Marcus. I have just thrown away my career. Every rank, every medal, void.
You didn't throw away anything worth keeping.
He was no longer a commander of the Threx, but perhaps for the first time, he was something worth being.
On the Threx command cruiser, the High Council viewed Kale Virek's message in a stunned, frozen silence. Then the chamber erupted into furious argument. He has shamed our entire command structure. This broadcast is a declaration of war against our own doctrine. The decree came swift and irrevocable. Kale Virek was discharged with prejudice, his rank stripped, all honors revoked, his name forbidden on official feeds. His insignia were shown digitally shattered, a signal to every officer that dissent meant erasure. The official notice reached the research station via a terse text-only burst. Kale read it, and his face showed nothing.
They have done exactly what I expected. I am erased, as expected.
Erasure is a Threx conceit. Here, you are just a survivor with a bad leg. Coffee?
Yet, even as the council congratulated itself, whispers of Kale's question passed from hand to hand on encrypted loops. Across the fleet, junior officers saw their own doubts reflected in his words. The silence had been broken.
He had lost everything: title, future, homeland. But as he looked at the humans around him, he found he didn't mind.
In the station's small medical bay, Kale Virek sat alone beside Emily Vance's cot. Her hands were bandaged, her face pale beneath an oxygen mask. The monitors blinked a steady, fragile rhythm.
I have spoken to my own people. They have erased me. But you, a stranger, a student, you carried us when they would not. I don't know how to repay that. I had a family once. They would have been shamed by me today. But I think they might have understood this.
He reached over with awkward, trembling fingers and straightened the edge of her blanket, a gesture utterly foreign to his kind.
I have never been good with words, but I will spend whatever life I have left making sure my people learn what you are.
Marcus Webb appeared in the doorway, a cup of coffee in each hand. He took in the scene and said nothing, his silence the loudest tribute.
He was no longer a commander, but sitting here, watching over the one who had given everything for his crew, he felt no loss, only purpose. Rest, Emily Vance. You have done more than any army. You have taught an old warrior what honor means.
The medical monitors beeped on, tireless. Outside the window, the storm had passed, leaving a sharp, clean silence.
He would not leave her side, not until she woke, and maybe not even then.
In a repurposed storage bay, the rescued Threx lay on human cots, tended by volunteers who treated them without a trace of hate.
Zara approached Nyla, her voice low and rough. I was wrong about you, about all of you.
Nyla kept sorting supplies, not looking up. The mountain was the real enemy. We were all just tools in a bigger fight.
Orin, his arm in a sling, held out a ration bar to a human medic. Here. It's not much, but it's something.
No one spoke of flags or past battles. The only currency was blankets, painkillers, and the quiet knowledge that they were all still breathing.
Kale limped into the bay, leaning on his crutch. His voice carried. We must never forget this lesson. We left them to die. They carried us anyway. That is our shame, and it is our only hope.
Then teach it, Kale. That's how it sticks.
I am no commander now, only a student.
Outside the frosted window, the mountain loomed indifferent. But inside, among the cots and coffee cups, a fragile peace had taken root. Emily's eyes fluttered open, the overhead light harsh. Marcus Webb sat slumped in a chair, his ice-crusted beard catching the glow.
How many? Tell me the truth.
All of them. We lost one of our own, but every Threx you pulled made it. You did that, Emily.
Kale Virek entered, his crutch silent on the floor. His gray face was strained, but his eyes held a quiet awe.
You are the commander, the one who should have died. She saw the humility in his posture. Something had broken. Not him, but the armor he wore.
He lowered himself awkwardly, a kneel that cost his wounded leg, and bowed his head.
I owe you more than my life. I surrendered my career today, and it was the easiest thing I've ever done.
Emily's lips quirked. Well, I missed my geology final for this. Professor's gonna kill me!
Marcus laughed, a rough sound. Outside, the Razorback Peaks watched, indifferent. But inside, a war had ended. Aboard a Threx cruiser, a young lieutenant replayed the band recording for his bunk room. Kale Virek's voice filled the silence. The question echoed, and none spoke. A soldier covered her mouth. Another's gaze fell to the cold metal deck. A superior officer caught them. "Delete that filth," he snarled. "It is insubordination to even listen." But the file had already been copied. Encrypted loops carried it to 3 more ships before the hour was out. On the human station, Kale picked up the chatter on a salvaged Threx communicator. He listened, his face carved from stone.
Good. Let them hear it. Let them sit with it until they cannot ignore what we are.
Across the fleet, in dim barracks, the question became a whisper that outran any order. It could not be recalled. Threx Command issued punishments, but each disciplinary action only made the recording more desirable. The Council's rage burned, but the flame was now too wide. The storm had passed, but its echo was now loose among the stars. A damning question, carried by the dismissed, the forgotten. In the Razorback range, the rescue team paid no mind. They were already packing for the next call. The mountain's ethic unchanged by fleet politics. Outside the station, a small cairn stood on the snow. The team gathered around it, breath misting in the frozen air.
We lost one of our own. He didn't make it, but his name is now the mountains. We won't forget. 47 Threx pulled alive. 47 reasons the mountain didn't win.
Kale stepped forward, a stone in his gray hand. He placed it on the cairn and bowed his head. For the one who fell, and for all of us who were lifted. I carry your names now.
Emily watched a few meters away, wrapped in a heavy blanket, her face still swollen with exhaustion. Tears froze on her cheeks.
The paint was for the dead, but this was why she kept painting it, not to mourn, but to remember what was possible.
We don't leave you behind, any of you. That's the only rule this mountain respects.
The cairn stood silent against the peaks, a monument to a code no command ever wrote. Later, away from the others, Emily found Kale by the supply crates, staring at the peaks. She held out her ice axe.
Take it. It's kept me alive more times than I can count.
I don't know what to say to such a gift. No Threx would surrender their weapon to an enemy.
You are not my enemy, Kale. The mountain was, and we beat it together.
Kale touched his own cheek, then pointed at her faded skull paint. What does this mean? You wear it into every danger.
It's for the dead I couldn't save before, but now it's for the living too. I'll paint it again next time. But this time, I'm adding something for you.
He bowed his head, the ice axe held close. I will remember, and I will teach it.
They stood without moving until the cold grew sharp, 2 figures on a ridge where once they would have been enemies. The axe passed from hand to hand, a bridge no war had built. The station hummed with quiet activity. Eli Farrow's voice crackled over the communal radio, weary but urgent.
Got another distress signal. It's coming from the Razorback, a week's traverse. Could be more survivors.
Emily grabbed her pack, her bandaged hands already reaching for her harness. She didn't hesitate.
I'll go. You are still recovering.
Number, you are the best rope man. I am fine. We all go, or we don't go.
One by one, The team tightened their boots and stepped into the cold, the same old dance with the indifferent mountain.
Emily smiled, her faded paint catching the sunrise. Let's go teach the mountain another lesson.
The mountain asked one thing: did you have the will? They always answered. The Razorback Range remained unvanquished, but it would not be empty. As long as there were those who would climb, it would not be a tomb, because on Earth, a storm could swallow a fleet, but it would never swallow the people who refused to leave anyone behind.